Greetings and hello. My name is Marc Schaffer, proud superintendent of the Thompson School District, and welcome to the Education Elevated podcast. And today, for the first time, we have two community members who are going to be talking to us about a very noble endeavor that serves our community, our students here in the Thompson School District. It's called KidsPak, and that is the topic and theme for today. But first, we're going to open with our two guests. I'm going to have them introduce themselves to you. And again, take a moment to tell the audience a little bit about yourself. And then, what's a positive memory you had when you were in school? And you can go back to kindergarten or high school or college, but, we're an education institution. So any positive, just quick memory that you had. So, Tom, we'll start with you.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Carrigan and I moved to Loveland in 2006, and we had come here some months before to visit her brother, and we were getting ready to retire, and so we came without a whole lot of background, but I joined Rotary and got involved in the KidsPak program in 2010, and here we are 15 years later, maturing the program and feeding kids. And I came from a business background in the San Francisco Bay Area. I was kind of a dinosaur. I worked for one company for 34 years. I started as a salesman in a specific territory, then sales manager, and retired as general manager of a very large manufacturing firm with 100 people. And during that time, I happened to cross paths with the San Francisco 49ers as a customer, and I ended up working on the field during the games for 27 years. And Carrigan and I had the pleasure of going to a number of Super Bowls courtesy of the 49ers. So we have a ton of memories about NFL football and stories from the sideline. Some I can mention, some I can't. But it was a wonderful set of Sundays over many years. And KidsPak has been a significant part of my life. And I started as a driver when the volume was 90 bags a week, and now we're up to 700. And we're in a new building, and that's a whole new story. But we have loved the community. It has a great set of nonprofits, and working with these people has been an absolute joy.
That's great. And then this is Tom Carrigan, by the way. So Tom does have a last name. It's Carrigan. And Tom, can you share just briefly a quick, maybe a positive memory from when you were in school?
Yes, I went to Sarah High School before Barry Bonds and before Tom Brady. So I want to get that clear. I was there before Tom Brady. And a classmate of mine went on to school up at USF and and then went in and became a priest and came back to Sarah. And we had some wonderful times together. And I said, "You've been over this school for 30 years. What did you do?" So that was a joyful moment to see a classmate of yours come back and oversee the school for 30 years.
Thank you. That's great. Ann.
So I'm Ann Pakenham, and I'm the interim executive director of KidsPak right now. But I've been in Loveland for about 25 years. Both of my kids went through the Thompson schools. I'm also a substitute in the district, so a lot of strong ties to TSD. I've done a lot of volunteering, from having destination imagination teams, robotics teams, and doing those kinds of support. But I love the idea of taking care of basic needs, which is what led me to KidsPak. And one of my best memories from school, I originally come from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I was part of the speech and debate team back then. And there was just a lot of fun memories from the competition and the bonding and traveling that I take with me to this day.
That's awesome. So Ann, you and I share that connection. I was never on the speech and debate team, but I was the coach of a speech and debate team. So
Fantastic.
What were your events, just out of curiosity?
Oratory, and then I did the two-person debate.
Was it policy or Lincoln Douglas?
Policy.
Policy. Okay, good stuff. So before we jump in and talk about KidsPak, you both mentioned that you're residents here in Loveland. So as a community member, what do you like about our city? What's a point of pride?
I think when you look at the diversity of nonprofits, the commitment of school leadership and getting to know the teachers, and especially those second and third grade teachers, they're going to heaven. Because if you've ever been in one of those classes, you realize they love their job. And if we can help leave a few bags of food to help them out. But I think the more the public knows a teacher at whatever grade level, they'll realize this public service has incredible value and that it has lasting effect. And I just wish more of the public would get to know the teachers, because it is an integral part of what's going on. Besides that, if you look at Loveland, we have alternates to violence. We have Project Self-Sufficiency, helping families get a better education so they can get a better job. These are single parents with kids. We have so many nonprofits in the city and in the county that we're rich in helping those who need help. And I honestly believe we will be judged on what we did, not on what we left undone.
It's a beautiful area. And I think one of the things I like about Loveland is there's a little bit of everything. For a small community, we have a lot of variety in services and activities. And it's been a great place to raise kids.
Awesome. Thank you both. So let's talk about this. What is KidsPak for those that don't know, and what is the history, the genesis? How did it start?
Yes, KidsPak started in the spring of 2009. Jeff Douglas was a member of the Loveland Rotary Club. He happened to see a national news story about the explosion of backpack programs across the United States. And if you'll remember, some 4 million families had lost their homes because of the economic conditions. President Obama came in at a very, very serious time, and there were another 4 million homes people were in jeopardy of losing. And so the weekend backpack program started to pop up around the country. Currently, Feeding America believes that there are about 5,000 backpack programs across the United States. Now, a backpack program can support 1 school, 3 schools, 5 schools, or a whole school district. It took KidsPak about 6 or 7 years to ramp up to get enough financial that we started with elementary, and we did 20 schools. Then we went to middle schools, went to high school, and then about 6 years ago, we went to early childhood. And if I'm not, you can correct me, I think there are about 575 students in early childhood in our district. For instance, our sister group is McBackpack. They serve the Poudre district. We are independent, but we talk to each other a lot and share information. Corey and I have traveled to Chicago for some meetings, went to Amarillo, Texas, stole all the best ideas they had down there. They helped us with some purchasing. So we like to reach out and learn. We bring nutritionists in to look at our products. In fact, last May, we brought all of our food into the dietitians at Thompson School District. They went through everything in our bag. They give us the plus, the minus, what we could do better. Of course, part of that's based on money, but we respect their training, and we're not afraid to have them evaluate how we can make our food bags better.
I just want to expand on that a little bit. The crux of what we do is a weekend food bag to help students go from Friday and have nutrition so they're ready to learn on Monday. And we do that through 3 different programs. During the school year, we deliver food directly to the school district. In the summer, we do some delivery to the school district, but we also are out in the community. And the third thing that we're really trying to start up is we're helping high school students with a food pantry, which is a little bit of a different food model, more to meet their needs. And we try really hard to break down the barriers to make sure hungry students can get the food they need easily.
Not only do we go to 36 schools every Wednesday morning with a talented group of volunteers, but we also have food bags at the Loveland Library, the Berthoud Library, Salvation Army, Sunrise Health Clinic that serves low-income families, and Project Self-Sufficiency. For the calendar year 2023, the Loveland Library sent home 3,300 bags. So for those families who are concerned about being seen with the bag, they can go in and get a book and get a bag if they need it. So we've tried to place bags out in the community where people quietly can go get what they need.
That's terrific. So over the course of your history since 2009, you've had a number of homes and home bases. Just briefly, where have you lived? Not you, but the KidsPak.
Well, we originally started at the House of Neighborly Service in downtown Loveland in their original building. We had a little 10 by 15 space in the back, and we had to hand truck up the food to the front of the building where the small boardroom was. We put the food up on the table. We would circle the table. Then we would put them on a scale to make sure that everybody had the same food, because there were a lot of old guys doing this. And then we'd haul them back to the building, and then we had 2 or 3 drivers that went out and took care of that. And I'm glad to say in the multi-years that we never ran over a customer, a client at the House of Neighborly Service. Then we moved on to the food bank for a number of years, and then we moved up to the Forge for 3 years, and then into our new building in May of 2024.
Wonderful. So our audience may be wondering, where do you get the food from? We'll talk about the actual packing process later, but in terms of just the inventory and the food, talk about how you acquire the food and the donations, maybe a little bit about the supply chain, who your key suppliers are, just wondering.
If you were shopping in Loveland last month, you saw us at the grocery store. We have amazing partners in our community. All of the grocery stores support us for one weekend. We supply the stores with a list of food that we would like. They buy extra, and then as our community members go in and shop, they buy food for KidsPak. In that one weekend, we probably brought in enough food for like 3 months of giving out bags. So that's one source.
About 60% of the food that we buy comes from the Larimer County Food Bank. Not all of the items they have match to our bag, so we have other wholesalers that we work with. We currently use a local wholesaler for our cereal, and that cereal we're buying at a deeply discounted price through our friends in Amarillo who got us on the General Mills contract that they have that's quite large. So that's a courtesy that Snack Pack for Kids in Amarillo did for us. It has saved us over $40,000 that they've extended to us. So that's been very helpful. We also have other random food people that send us, I have this, I have that, and then we discuss what's going on. We also get our beef sticks from CSU, and that those bags or those items come at no charge through a unique program at CSU Animal Sciences. KidsPak gets 35,000 beef sticks a year at no charge. That item has 8 grams of protein in it. And the first item eaten in the bag, I'm told.
So as an organization, you have an army of volunteers. You've got the cadre that, does a variety of things. They are the ones that show up consistently. And then you have other volunteers that, might participate in specialty packs or help in other ways. Talk about how you leverage all of the volunteers, maybe some of the roles they play. What does that look like?
The way our organization is set up right now, we have one paid employee. Everyone else is a volunteer. So a lot of key people, our warehouse manager who buys the food and schedules the packs, a volunteer. The person who runs distribution on Wednesdays, a volunteer. And so we just have a lot of dedicated people. And we put out calls for volunteers periodically with signups. And as people come in and we can identify people who are interested in spending more time, we try to cultivate them and bring them in more often.
So there are so many behind-the-scenes things that take place with KidsPak. I'm going to list off a few of them, and maybe if each of you can talk about one or two. So we have maybe talk about a memorable packing or the annual TSD Subaru Share the Love competition pack. I'm interested in maybe celebrities or politicians or other memorable people that have. So those kinds of things. If you want to share a couple of them, that would be really, really good.
Well, we had one just a couple of months ago with Commissioner Jody from Larimer County, and she's been a long-time supporter, and so is the county. The county gave us $250,000 toward the building of COVID money. And just a couple of months ago, she arranged a unique pack, I think I would call it, an all-female pack versus the sheriff and his deputies. And it was unique. The sheriff was not quite prepared for the efficiency of the ladies, and they beat him by 4 minutes and 10 seconds. And now he is a much smarter sheriff when he comes back to KidsPak with his people.
And I believe the Larimer County employees broke the all-time record of packing. We were all sweating by the end.
Yes.
We could not stock food fast enough for them to bag it.
Right. And Commissioner John Kofalos, who is a sweet, super sweet guy, he was over on the sheriff, and he said, "You've got to go faster," because he knew there was a setup there. But we've had a lot of fun doing that, and as you know, and your team has won 2 of the last 3 years out at Subaru. It's not only fun, but it's a best example of public-private partnerships, and that's certainly true of how the beef stick program started up at CSU.
So let's set the stage of what really happens out at Subaru. Subaru is an amazing partner for us. TSD, of course, is also an amazing partner. And we put the 2 of them together. We haul all of the food out to Subaru. They each get a team, and they race to see who can pack first. There are rules that are sometimes challenged as everyone tries to be the fastest, and it's quite fun and entertaining. And I don't know, I think TSD didn't quite make it this year.
No, we actually did win this year, I think.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yes. I mean, and this has really evolved. I would say we've done this for the past I think 7 years. And I'll go on record to say that we won 6 of the 7 years.
Yes.
And the one year we lost was a year that I was not participating. So I just want that on the record. But it is a very... it's interesting because we have referees. We've evolved into full rules and penalties, and
Yes.
And maybe a little friendly cheating along the way. It's for a good cause, but wherever we're pretty competitive. We.
Yes.
And there used to be a traveling trophy, Tom, and that might have disappeared. I don't know where that is.
It might have moved back and forth, but Mark, you made one strategic move early on. You asked your team no high heels. And after that, things went really fast. And of course, you brought young, dynamic coaches who could run. And that seemed to speed up your team.
Well, we bring educational professionals. So, no, it is good fun, and it's absolutely for a great cause. There's other like great events that happen. I think about like the holiday drive with the gift cards, and we talked a little bit about that spring, almost competition, the food drive, the community food. Can you talk about those events?
So when Safeway rolled into the $50 gift card, it made it much, much easier. And we saw some really significant numbers of people donating in the 3 stores. And they had a third party who created the cards, told us when they were coming. We were able then to work with Gloria Majors and other people in the district and get the cards out to the families. I believe in the last 2 years, we have received and distributed $70,000 in gift cards to families. And we know it's made a big difference. And our KidsPak has been in front of Loveland consumers quite a bit, the food drive and this Christmas program. And so it's just developed, and also King Soopers has been very good to us. And so we just get in there and get them to participate, and we've been very lucky.
I was going to say, on the giving end, during the summer, we partner with Loveland Housing Authority, and there's also a specific neighborhood that has a lot of low-income families that we work directly with them to make sure they have food over the summer. And then one of our new community events is we're having a golf tournament on June 7th. That's new for us. So we're trying to expand and grow and help as many kids as we can.
This summer is a unique time because the Wednesday becomes a distribution day, but we also have a real mix of things going on in the city. So we've got to work with Boys and Girls Club. How many sites? How many bags do they need? How many summer schools do we have? What are the times? And in the case of the Loveland Housing Authority, what we do at the beginning of the month is their navigators who work with the clients. We put 35 to 40 items in a large bag, and the navigators then distribute on the building sites where they manage. So we adapt as quickly as we can, and generally speaking, 120 bags are given out to Loveland Housing, maybe more this year. We're waiting to see. But we try and fill in the boxes in the summer and touch as many kids as we can.
So as we come to the close of our podcast together, anything else you'd like to share with our listening audience? Anything that either you want to illuminate, or what's on the horizon, or just any other closing thoughts?
I think as an organization, as we move forward, we recognize that things are always changing. So we're always keeping an eye out of, do we need to do food differently? Do we need to do a different mechanism to reach the hungry teenager? And so we are trying to evolve and grow. And we do rely on an army of volunteers, and we are so appreciative of. I get emails every day of somebody new that says, "Hey, I want to help KidsPak. I just heard about it." We were on the Next Word of Thanks on Channel 9, which was amazing exposure to us. Plus, it gave us a nice infusion of donations. And we try to be very respectful of the donations we receive and make sure we're doing what we can to get it into nutrition in students' bodies.
I think one of the more meaningful moments for Corrine and I was a few weeks back. We were in King Soopers, and we were in the produce section, and we had our KidsPak shirts on, and two young boys, probably 8 and 6, ran up to us and hugged us and said, "Thanks for my food." That's about as impactful as you can get.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
If people wanted more information about KidsPak, either about volunteering or just learning more about the organization, where can they go for that?
KidsPak.org.
Nice and easy. Nice and easy. So, Tom, Ann, thank you. Thank you not only for joining me on our Education Elevated podcast, but also, quite honestly, thank you to all that you and KidsPak does for our community. It absolutely provides hope. It provides nourishment. It provides life. And it allows our students and their families to be able to have dignity and nutrition, quite honestly. And so we appreciate you, and on behalf of the Thompson School District as well as our entire community, thank you. And thank all of you for our loyal listeners, and we appreciate your engagement in this podcast. And please join us next time when we will bring forward more exciting and interesting guests. So thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.